Yama. I acknowledge the Gadigal, their country, kin, and ancestors upon whose lands we are gathered today. I acknowledge their elders, past and present, who continue to live and breathe and enact sovereignty in this place. I also want to acknowledge any mob present today, especially mob from Redfern and Waterloo. Without your continued activism and staunchness, we would be in a very dire place indeed, as First Nations. It's an honour to be asked today to speak about the importance of the Deathscapes project. As academic interest builds in commissions of inquiry, especially those into Indigenous peoples, this project is a reminder that expertise in inquests lies with those who endure them, communities, families, and the dead. Coroners' courts, with their mandatory jurisdiction over deaths in custody, have tried to stake their claim over the stories told about Black Death. They tell us that asphyxiation doesn't kill, that our bodies, instead, are more prone to being unable to breathe. Coroners have created diseases where they should have instead described violence, and have become sites of impunity for police and prisons, and of continued violence for families and communities who continue to have their loved ones taken from them. Deathscapes offers a counter-narrative of settler colonial violence and more. It offers a critique of the way colonial violence thinks of itself, drawing in courts of inquiry as complicit as they seek to disguise or legitimate or managerialize Black Death. And even more than a counter-narrative or a critique, Deathscapes corrects the record about the life that's taken, the lives that are sacred to us. Lives which are so commonly documented by coroners as trajectories of inevitable tragedy. Deathscape tells us, for instance, of Ms. Dew's sense of humour, her compassion, her care. Tells us where she grew up and who grew her up and what she liked to do. We hear from an alternative source of litigation, ones free of the legal jargon that's come to dehumanize and medicalize and traumatize loved ones after a contested death. We see poetry in the Deathscapes project. We see assemblies of protest and their signage. We see images of mourners interrupted beside a court building. We see acts of memorializing by trees, on country, and by kin. We see men who are painted up next to courts in protest of their jurisdiction. We see statements, we see lectures, we see song. We hear directly from elders and loved ones. We hear too from the fellow dead, connecting all these threads together to know why Ms. Dew's death links to Ms. Williams' death, links to the violence of a colony. The Deathscapes project, through intensely viewing institutions that see themselves as watchdogs of state power, becomes a guardian of a new form of critical sight that questions their neutrality, their effectiveness, and their compassion. In honour of that practice, using the inquest's own words as a mirror to reveal its flaws, I'll leave you today with a poem called Exhibit Tab, which was written by ranking the 49 most common three-word phrases from the findings of the inquest into the death of Ms. Dew, to show what new violence descends on contested deaths in the Australian legal system. Exhibit Tab. First Class Constable. Dew. The death of, into the death of, Dew. 11-020-14. Inquest into the 11-020-14 page. Dew. 11-020. Class Constable Mattier. 4 August 2014. Senior Constable Burgess. Exhibit 1 tab. 3 August 2014. At the inquest. 2 August 2014. Exhibit 3 tab. The Emergency Department. That she was. Am satisfied that. I am satisfied. Lockup Keeper. To the effect. The police officers. Exhibit 4 tab. The effect that evidence was fitness to hold. Evidence was that of the police. The fact that to hold form would have been that she had the Western Australia. There was no emergency department notes. Exhibit 2 tab, the custody system, dues, temperature, the police vehicle, lock-up procedure. Ought to have Western Australia Police, Class Constable George, through his counsel, was feigning her lock-up procedures.